Hello, you lovely, gorgeous people. Welcome to this week's coffee break. And wow, what a flipping week it's been in this house. How have you been this week? This week has been intense for us. And I just put that out because, you know, I come here and I do this channel and I share my work with resistance-free parenting. And people know me as, and yes, I identify as this, somebody who does conscious work and chooses peace, inner peace, chooses to have time to process things, chooses a peaceful path, puts space around them in their life, do all these things. And sometimes life happens, which means that things, you know, show up in a way that can, you know, impact you. And we have to ride that wave, don't we? And sometimes it is one or the other, and sometimes it's a mixture of external stuff and internal stuff, you know, and they go together because one impacts the other. And we have to just move through a time sometimes. And so I just wanted to come and really share that, you know, we are all here on this human journey, riding that wave. And it doesn't make any of us in a place of doing or being better because of where our situation is. I am all for doing the inner work to release the beliefs, ideas, expectations and pressures that we carry that can put unnecessary pressure on us, you know, choosing more ease, finding more peace. I'm all for that. When life happens and we find ourselves in intensity, it's really, really, really important that we come at ourselves with huge love and compassion. And I say that because I know that I have carried a story in my life, and I wonder if this sits for anyone too, of being in a place of judgment about that. Especially if you are somebody who chooses to do the conscious work, to try and show up differently in life, you know, with more ease and more joy and more presence in your family. When we find ourselves in a spin, in a frenzy, maybe even triggered into old habits and patterns that we thought we'd work through, you know, going through another layer of that perhaps as things happen around us. It's really important that we come into it with so much self-love and compassion and grace, you know, and so I just really wanted to bring that real stuff into this space too. I'm having to really walk my walk and talk my talk with that this week. There are balls that I have dropped all over the places. There are messages that are sat in my inbox that I haven't, I was going to say I haven't got the time to respond to, but a more fully authentic reflection is that I have chosen to leave them in pause there because it doesn't honour my energy and my sense of priority of focus at the moment to go to them, and I can't give them my full attention and energy and presence, and so I have to sit longer in pause. Than is my preferred choice. I've had to say to friends and to family, I love you, I want to see you, I love hearing from you. I'm not in a space of being able to respond fully to you right now. I'm not in a place of presence to make plans for the next few days right now because life's been very immediate, and it's okay to be in those spaces. And I really wanted to come and talk about that because I think especially for us, it was a time when our daughter was younger, but it doesn't always go that way, but it was for us, where I found myself in more intensity a lot of the time and in an ongoing way. And the thing is, when you have, like I have, a week come up where there's this going on, you know, people understand. We all have these times, don't we, where, you know, there's more intensity in some way or another, and we're, you know, we're called to have a focus in certain areas of our life. People understand that. I think what can be really hard is when you find yourself in that place in quite an ongoing, you know, a lengthy period of time. It can mean that people find it harder to understand, and then we can lose that that sort of sense of self-understanding and self-acceptance about the fact that we are under fire, we are under pressure, we are in intensity, and our capacity may be different, our focus may be different, our energy, our thinking space, you know, is all going to be affected. And so it's really, really important to have those reminders sometimes. I really wanted to come and just bring that into this space where a lot of you do find yourself sometimes in quite long, or sometimes very, very long periods of time where, you know, you are called to have your focus on your family or your home in a very intense way, or in life situations going on in a very intense way, which means your capacity, your time, your energy, and ability to respond to anything outside of that is, you know, long-term impaired. You know, it can affect relationships, it can affect all kinds of things, and after a little bit it can start to niggle away at us and our sense of who we are, our identity. We can start to feel lack, you know, make it a fault. And so we really need to invite ourselves into that huge, you know, self-compassion. This is not a sense of me being wrong or some sort of lack in me. I'm just in this situation. This is where I am. This is how it is. Really coming into that radical self-acceptance of this is how it is right now, and it's okay. Making friends with it, not meaning I love it, not meaning it's fun, but being at peace with it doesn't mean something about me in some, you know, story of lack. I'm not good enough. You know, here I am, this wonderful, incredible mother, person, holding a lot and doing my very best with it. And even if it feels like that's really messy and imperfect, because a lot of my capacity means that I show up in a way which isn't, you know, how I want to be. You know, I can really give myself the love and compassion and acceptance that I would looking in from the outside right now. So I just really want to invite you to do that for yourself, if that sits with you. As I'm recording this, we've had some things work through that have been going on in practical stuff in our house. I think I've told you we've had trouble with the lights, we've had trouble with all kinds of equipment and all kinds of things that have been disruptive in the house, amongst other things, and they seem to have worked through. And I'm landed in some new moon energy, which feels like things are kind of settling down, but there's always that aftermath, follow-up. You know, like I was saying, things build up when we don't have time to attend to them. You know, messages, even if they're welcome, loved, appreciated messages, they're sat there to respond to. It's like coming back from a holiday at work and your email inbox is full, you know. Things still need dealing with. So we need to give ourselves the grace, the time and the space that's needed to come out of these intense times, as well as this grace when we're in them. Yeah, right. On that note, I am going to shuffle these lovely cards. If you haven't joined our video before, welcome, welcome. I'll do an intro in the middle because that's when I thought of it. I'll do me. So I'm Lindsay at Resistance Free Parenting. Welcome to this space. This is our coffee break, which is where I just show up, pop the video on, say hi, have a chat. Very relaxed. Come and hang out with me, be my friend. And I just like to open this space of thoughtfulness, really, and chatter. Okay, these are my dropped cards. There you go, that was a good metaphor. I've dropped all the cards. These are my beautiful cards, which are, I have absolutely no what they're, I'm fishing. I say this all the time, but right now my brain is just like mud and I've no idea. Wisdom for Healing cards. This is what I was fishing for. Lessons in personal empowerment. That's what I was looking for. So I would like to pull one of these and see what it has to offer us. So if you've got something going on with you, you might want to just feel into that. See if you've got a question, a thought, somewhere you'd like some guidance, just a bit of inspo, and see if it has a message for you. Okay, this is the one that's popped up. I'll show you the card. And it says break negative habits. So we'll see what it's got to offer. Today's lesson: be cognizant of one negative practice you engage in that causes you to lose power and work on changing that situation. This could be thinking negative thoughts, overeating, or being constantly late. So just take a moment, pause, breathe. I know what mine was. It flashed up instantly. Just notice your habits. Negative practice, not to beat yourself up with, but to be aware of, that you can bring in with love, to say thank you for showing me where I'm kind of giving my power away, losing a bit of energy, and that I can just become conscious of it right now. The invitation on the card, if it feels right, if it feels like the time for you, the goal is to recognise that modifying or releasing unproductive habits can be challenging, even unpleasant, but it's essential that you do so. So that's your invitation. If it feels good to you, it's always your choice. And in a minute, I'm going to lead some EFT tapping, which could help you with that. And I don't know if you're joining us on the Tapping Taster, where I show you how to use EFT tapping for parents. I'll make sure there's a link with the video. We've just coming to the end of week 1 and going into week 2. So if you want to come and play catch up, you're always welcome. Okay, so if you've got something coming up, you know, just invite it in with love. And notice that even just paying attention to it is a real act of strength. So let's just be really, really generous and appreciative that we've got the courage and awareness to sit with this. And that in itself is an act of transformation, is an act of change. Just making it conscious is empowering. So like, okay, I have this habit. I have this thing that I go to, you know, this pattern. And I notice that it does drain my energy, drain my health, drain my resources, take away from my relationships. I notice that. And then notice how you can really love yourself even though you have this stuff. And no, I cannot emphasize this enough, that we all have them. This is not some big, terrible, deep, dark secret that you walk alone with. It feels like that, doesn't it? We have so much, you know, pressure that we put on ourselves to hide these, what we think of as these sort of secretive shadow parts of ourselves. But actually, our strength is not in our light and the things that we see that we do well. And it's not in our shadow and our secret side either. It's actually in our wholeness. It's actually in knowing that kind of there's the two ends of the stick that are all part of the same story. And it's when we allow it to come into our fullness, into our wholeness, and be with the whole picture and see our whole glorious selves, that's when we're really in our strength. And when we do the EFT tapping, if you've not done it with me before, we tap on some acupoints, which soothes the amygdala, that part of the brain that sends out the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. It sends a bit like an electrical impulse through to that, and brings us peace in our whole body's energy system. So when we're focused on something, so it could be on one of these habits or patterns or, you know, these thoughts, and we can tap on these acupoints while we're focused on that and bring peace into our body's energy system. And we start by tapping on the side of the hand here. And when we do this, we set up a statement which says that we have this, but also that we really love and accept ourselves. And that's, for me, is the most important part of the process, because it stops us from pushing it away, disowning that part of ourselves. Because imagine being a little child who is living life and learning through making mistakes. You know, we do things that we're embarrassed of, that we feel awkward about, that we feel not good enough about. We can easily go into shame and embarrassment. Imagine our children hiding that stuff from us and just, you know, hiding in the corner and just feeling like they're so less than. And we know as adults, that's just life. That's how you learn. You know, that's just growing up. But actually, that's the same for us as adults. You know, we're living life, learning and growing as we go. That's how it's designed to be. But we find these parts of ourselves that we think are so disgusting, so unlovable, so embarrassing. You know, we carry the weight of guilt and shame and all this stuff and self-loathing, and then it becomes hidden and it eats away at us. It eats away at our self-esteem and our sense of self and self-love. And so when I do the EFT tapping with people, it's really about saying, we can speak this, we can acknowledge this part of ourselves, and we can still love ourselves, we can still accept ourselves. And that's the biggest journey. So if you feel like you've got something coming into your awareness now, a habit, a thought, a practice, something that when I read the card came up for you that you noticed, just be aware of it. As simple as that. Just hold your awareness of it in a thought or a feeling or a memory. Just be aware of it. And you can just, if you want to, follow me and tap gently on the side of the hand, just taking really good care of yourself. Self-responsibility, because I'm just leading you in this like little experiment, really trying this out. And like I say, if you want to learn more, come and join us in the tapping taster. Okay, tapping on the side of the hand here, and you can just say after me, even though I've got this pattern, this habit, this practice, this way of being, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got this pattern, I love and forgive myself. Even though I've got this, I deeply and completely accept all of myself. And then you can just go and tap on the front of the eyebrow and just be aware of this thing. Notice the feelings that it brings up for you, the emotions and the physical sensations, and go on the side of your eye here and just tap on these acupoints for me. And just be aware, just notice if you've got a knot in your stomach or a tightness in your chest, or maybe you're tensing somewhere in your body. Notice those things. Notice the situations, you know, the examples, the memories that are coming to mind. And tap under the nose here and just notice the people associated with these stories and the people it reminds you of. Maybe the people you don't want to be like, but it's reminding you of. Often parents, let's be honest. Okay, and we're going to go on the chin here. And just be aware. Just be aware of these habits, these patterns that you run. We all run. Okay, and then go with the wide hand right over the collarbone like this. Just being aware. Just being aware. And then with a flat hand under the arm here. Okay, just drawing on that awareness again in your thoughts and in your physical sensations. I can't get my words out today. I am so tired. I'm going to go have a bath in a minute, you'll be glad to know, and just go and chillax a bit. Okay, on top of the head. Just being aware of these things that are going on in your mind, in your awareness. And then if you'd like to put your hand over your heart, and if it feels like it would be supportive, you could put your hand on your belly. It just came to my mind there. And allow yourself to take a full breath. You can pause at the top and just feel that tension a little bit. Slowly release the breath. And with that, just have the intention of releasing any attachment you have to feeling guilty, feeling bad, feeling ashamed, feeling down on yourself about this pattern. That's all I want for you today, just to let go of your feeling bad about it. The rest will follow in its own time. take really, really good care of yourself coming out of that. You might find yourself yawning, sighing, you might even have a little cry. And I'm sending you so very much love as you move through this energy. This is energy work, so it can, you know, it's a bit like a full detox of mind, body, soul. It can show up in all kinds of ways, and you might find that coming out of doing the tapping, little bits of inspiration, guidance, thoughts flop into your mind at any time over the day. Sending again all my love, understanding, and thank you for those of you who've been sending your love to me this week, who know that we've been going through some things, so I really appreciate that. Just to reassure anybody tuning into this who knows us and loves us, we're all fine. It's just been, you know, lots of different things from different angles, but everybody's fine. And we're coming into a more peaceful week ahead, I think. You never know, do you? But it seems. Okay, sending lots and lots of love your way. Thank you for coming and hanging out, spending this bit of time. Don't forget, in the comments with these videos, you can find the link to the tapping taster, to my Facebook groups. If you enjoy this coffee break video, you might like to subscribe. Make sure you catch these. It really helps me if you push the subscribe button, push the like button, send a comment, all those things, because it helps the YouTube algorithm get these videos out to other parents who might enjoy having this space held for them. So thanks for those of you who are able and willing to do that. I really appreciate it, and I totally understand that some of you can't, and that's fine too. All my love. Bye.